I was in a 2-year-long toxic relationship which ended up very poorly, sadly. And there I am with my girlfriend telling me that if I wanted to save the relationship, I will have to masturbate 30 times inside one single day. And if you think that's impossible, well then I actually did the impossible. So after she saw that I actually made the thing that she asked of me, she realized what kind of hopeless freak I was, and she broke up with me, which was probably the best thing for both of us. And there I am, thinking about ways to kill myself, because after you masturbate 30 times in one single day, you basically have no mental health left. And there I am developing the plan, when I suddenly get an idea to check YouTube. I check YouTube and I actually find a self-improvement video which ended up changing my life forever. Since that day onward, I have quit masturbation and most of my bad habits within one single day. And on top of that, brother, I have started coaching people and I've realized many other ways as to how to quit masturbation that are far less painful than the way I had. And so inside this video, my promise to you is that by the end of this video, if you are struggling with masturbation and you don't get a solid idea as to how to quit step by step and what you need to do, I give you my permission to report my channel for a scam. So let's go. Number one thing that we need to understand are the ways in which you can quit masturbation. As you can see up here, I have this written down. Basically it says rock bottom and progressive overload. What do I mean by rock bottom first? By rock bottom I mean the exact same thing that happened to me that day when my girlfriend broke up with me, because I was literally at the bottom. And to make matters even worse, I literally hit the rock bottom when I started thinking about suicide. So the number one way is to actually get to a position of life where you cannot, where you cannot hold, where you cannot continue living the way you live. You would rather die, you would rather get tortured, you will literally rather go to heaven or hell rather than stay inside this life. That's the number one way to quit masturbation. And I don't want anyone to actually get there, especially you, my friend. You're watching this video and this video will not be meant for you to go into the same position where I was and potentially don't get the same insight I got that day. And you end up having, I don't know, ending your life or something. So exactly because of that, bro, I am here to tell you that there is another way to get to this rock bottom stage inside your life. You're probably curious as to what it is. Well, it's very similar, and you've probably heard these stories about our brains not being able to distinguish the difference between a dream and a reality. And most of the times, that's the truth. In fact, 100% of the times. If I tell you right now to don't think about a pink elephant, and that's exactly what you're gonna think. And you're gonna imagine it very vividly. You're gonna see the skin, you're gonna see everything. And if you close your eyes and you're good at visualization, you can even touch the elephant, feel the surface, and all of those details. So, if that is the case, we can use this technique to get to that rock bottom stage inside life, and it's called negative visualization. What do I mean by this? Well, visualizations, you've heard most likely so far, are when you sit down, close your eyes, and imagine your future. And most of the times people tell you to imagine it in a positive way, to imagine what would happen if you just continued this great habit. That's what most people do. That's what most people say. However, if you want to be exceptional, you also need to harvest your dark motivation inside you. That motivation that is like running away from something. As humans, we either get closer to pleasure or away from pain. So let's harness this away from pain activity, because it's far more powerful than getting closer to pleasure. If you right now were offered $1 million and all you need to do was work every single day for 10 hours a day for the following 100 days, you would feel motivated for the first few days, and then you would question whether it's worth it or not. However, if I put up a gun against your head and I told you that I'm gonna kill the most important person inside your life, that will be exactly what you are gonna avoid inside your life. If it takes you You would literally put yourself in front of my gun to save that person, because it's actually running away from something that hurts you inside life. So always the running away from something painful in life will be more powerful than coming closer to pleasure. So how can we perform this negative visualization? It's very simple. You close your eyes, you set a timer for, let's say, 3 minutes, for example, 1 minute if you're a beginner, and you close your eyes and imagine the habits that you have been doing so far in life. And I want you to feel the pain. I want you to feel what would actually happen inside your life. What would actually happen if you continued doing what you're currently doing inside life. And you continue this, and it's gonna feel uncomfortable. You are gonna hate it. You're gonna literally start to feel physical emotions all over your body. Maybe goosebumps, maybe tightening in your throat, maybe you will feel disgusted of yourself. Doesn't fucking matter. The only thing that matters is you feel something. Something that will push you away from this reality that you're currently imagining. And to make things even better for you, one thing that you can do is next, just close that visualization and open another one for about 90 seconds, for example, and you're just imagine you taking an action to solve this problem that you were looking just right now. And then maybe you can do another 30 seconds where you just completely see yourself as the problem has already evaporated from in your entire life. So that next time whenever the urge comes, for example, to masturbate or to watch porn, you will feel far more resistance because, okay, if I continue, I might actually commit suicide too. I don't want to die, bro. What the fuck, man? No, fuck this shit. You will be that attitude. And that's great. That's beautiful. So continue. Number 2, progressive overload. Pretty self-explanatory. If you are on planet Earth, you most likely heard about going to the gym. And if you were actually going to the gym, you most likely know this concept, which is called progressively overloading your weights, your progress. What do I mean by this? Well, when you go to the gym, then let's say you start with 10 kgs. It's your first day and you start 10 kgs dumbbells on each pec, on each side of your chest. I don't know, somehow you're that strong, and the first day and you start with 10 kgs on each pec and you start pushing, you start pushing. You do this for about, let's say, 3 days, 4 days, and then it gets easier and easier until you can actually do it. And I'm done. And that's it. 5 minutes and I'm done. Well then, that will not give you as much progress as if if it would give you if you actually increased the weight or the amount of times you actually did it. So you can use the same 10 kgs weights, you're using them for 15 times instead of 10 this time. Or you can increase the weight, keep the reps the same, and do 10 reps of, let's say, 15 kgs or 12.5 kgs or something similar. That's the point. You probably get it. If you don't, just rewatch the video. So now that you understand this, that's exactly how you do it with masturbation. However, maybe it's unclear to you. You start, for example, with 1 day. You're currently jacking off so vigorously that you're jacking off 3 times a day. Well then, tomorrow, instead of doing a cold turkey method, just go on and masturbate twice, not 3 times. Then the next day, masturbate only once. Then the next day, don't masturbate the next day. Now you're masturbating. Let's say in a matter of 5 days, you got from masturbating 3 times a day to masturbating once in 2 days. And you continue this. Next up, your goal, once this gets easy, next up your goal will be masturbating, let's say, once in 3 days, once in 4 days, once in 5 days, and you continue like climbing stairs, climbing a ladder. That's exactly how you do it. Now, that's pretty much it when it comes down to progressive overload. Now the most important things are the following numbers that I have written down on my whiteboard over here. So now that you understand the 2 ways, you can select which one you want. It's your choice. Both will work. However, the most important thing from my personal experience is the second one. You see this little star, right? This beautiful little thing. Well then, This star that I just showed you is something that will keep you or make you a millionaire or a failure inside your life. So what do I mean by the star? The star represents something that you are fighting for inside this life. Something that is actually so meaningful that you're willing to do sacrifices. You're not here just jacking off, just eating junk food, just, I don't know, giving into instant gratification because you don't have any stakes on the board. Now you actually have your own neck on the line. Except it's not your neck, it's your future self's neck. What do I mean by this? Well, if you seriously think about it for just 2 seconds, what are you sacrificing when you masturbate? You're sacrificing your future. And if you are struggling with it still, even after you realize that, hey bro, my future is fucked, even after you realize this, if it's still weak, imagine your future self as a third person, as a person that is actually other than you. It's you, but it's not you, if you get my point. It's in the future. And if you want to become this person who is jacked, who is able to go on and approach any girl, who is able to make money online, who is able to control his urges, well then, you will need to do something, which is called finding your passion, finding your path inside life. What and how do you do this? Well, when I first began this no-fap journey, when I first quit masturbation within one single day, that same day I just envisioned myself 2 years later being able to approach any girl, being jacked and being in a good positive mental state. And damn bro, I was right. I came to that position, and now I'm gonna sacrifice myself for my future self, for my current future self, which is gonna make a lot of money, who is gonna change the world and who is gonna impact millions. And this is why I am recording this video right now. I'm sacrificing movies, I'm sacrificing Instagram, I'm sacrificing going out to parties with people because of my future self. Back then, I sacrificed every instant gratification possible just so I can sit down and read a book. Now, how do you find this thing? Well, I want you to sit down for a minute and just open up a journal, a real piece of paper. Please use a real piece of paper because it's gonna make you do some work. It's gonna make you remember what you're about to write down. So open up that piece of paper and write down every single thing that you want to be inside this life. Next thing that I want you to write down is, what do you want to be in the future? Just 1 or 2 years in the future. That's all I'm asking. Alright, ask yourself that question and write it down. Maybe you want to get jacked, maybe you want to have a six-pack, maybe you want to have a good jawline, maybe you want to have, I don't know, anything. Maybe you want to have a girlfriend. Doesn't matter. You write that down and it's only yours. It's personal. Next up, I want you to visualize this person doing these activities that you just wrote down and the actions that will be required of you to get him to the stage where he wants to be, where you envision him. So if you wrote down that you want to get jacked in the future, just in 2 years shortly, drop down right now and do 20 push-ups. And that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna buy yourself one of these if you have to. If you can go to the gym, just buy yourself a rubber band and start exercising with that. Just start doing something connected to what you just wrote down. And to make this vision even more powerful, come back to point 1 in the things that most interest you throughout your life. Maybe you're interested into geology, maybe zoology, maybe geometry, whatever the fuck you want, bro. Just go over it and ask yourself, am I really living this life, man? Am I really living every single day with doing at least one activity connected to this shit? Nah, bro. Well, fuck, man, I want to be a geologist, yet I have not read a single book about geology. What the fuck, man? How am I gonna succeed? Well, that's a good question, my friend. How are you gonna succeed if you want to be a geologist, yet you have never read a geography or geology book, whatever that is? If you want to be a singer, yet you never practice inside your day, how the fuck are you gonna get better inside life? By practicing once a week? No. Everyone who is practicing twice a day even is gonna crush you. They are gonna beat the snot out of you. So that's what you need to do. Next thing that you need to do is just separate 1 hour a day doing that activity that you just wrote down. For example, let's say you want to be a musician and you decided that if you want to be a musician, you will need to practice or learn about music every single day. So you separate this. Today you practice singing. You listen to a song and you try to sing it perfectly. Tomorrow you learn how to sing even better and you just continuously chain this event. And in just about 1 or 2 or 3 months, you will be there just wondering, how the fuck am I able to sing Michael Jackson right now? Damn, man, I have a good voice. And then, before you know it, some agency hires you to become a millionaire. The reason why I spent so much on this point, on this little star, is because it's so powerful. So, now that you understand this, I want you to spend at least 1 hour a day doing that activity. And whenever you think about your future self, keep this quote in mind. I went by this quote every single time I got the urge after I discovered self-improvement. Okay, I want to have sex right now. That's why I'm horny. Can I have sex right now? Well, if I can't, let's do something that will lead me toward having sex in the future. That will lead your future self to have sex with someone beautiful. That's what you need to do. So every single time you get the boner, don't just take your hand, grab the Willy Wonka by the throat and just, oh well, he deserves to leave him alone. Instead, go on and just drop down and do push-ups. And literally do push-ups until the erection is gone. Number 3 is also very important. Number 3 comes down to one of the main reasons why many people end up failing inside their lives. End up failing with business, with nofap, with so many things. As you can see, it says, fake it until you make it. What do I mean by this? Currently, you don't have the mental image of yourself as the person who does not masturbate, as the person who is not into bad habits and stuff like that. Because your current personality reflects who you currently are. If your room is messy, if you jack off 30 times a day, that reflects your inside of your brain. So you're not in a good position of life. And many people will get demotivated when they hear this, thinking, oh man, I'm never gonna change, it will take so much time if I do so, wow, and just start crying. Instead of that, how about you just stop, okay, for a minute and ask yourself, who the fuck is this guy that I just wrote down in point 2? You visualize him again and you think about his mindset. Who is he? What does he behave like? His traits, his weaknesses, his virtues. What does he look like? How does he behave with the world? How does he carry himself? Is he hunched over or is he confidently going through the street, attracting attention? Purposefully. Who is this dude? And start acting like him. And if it's tough, if you think, oh man, but he's not a real person, well then, what I want you to do is just pick someone as a model, as a father figure inside your life, and follow what he does. For example, pick Dwayne Johnson. You look at him, you look at how he behaves, you look at how he carries himself toward the world. Confidence is exploding, everything is just beautiful for him. Well then, that's exactly what you're gonna do. You're gonna act like him. You're gonna feel inauthentic for the first few weeks. I'm not gonna lie. You're gonna feel like, oh man, I'm acting though. It's not me. This girl likes me because I'm acting, not because of myself. That sucks. Why should I do that? Well, here is why you should do this. Because after eventual time, after a particular time, that personality will slowly get deeper and deeper inside your own spirit. And now you will own the personality. You will own it. You will own your weaknesses currently, but also you're gonna own up to the strengths that you're currently copycatting from someone else. For example, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. Every single day you're carrying yourself like him. After enough time of doing this, you will practice and do and live like he does. And you will feel authentic because that's who you have become. And now, number 4, after we change the identity, there is one last thing to realize inside this journey. And that is constant evolution. As you see, this graph looks very, very strange, very, very interesting. It's like little wavy stairs. What do they mean? Well, something very important. You probably had one of those times. For example, I had one of those times where for about 3 months I'm doing perfectly fine. I'm not jacking off, I'm not using instant gratification, I'm literally the most motivated, the most disciplined, the most willpower, amazing guy ever. And then the following 3 months, I'm actually in the deepest rut of my life. I feel depressed, I started eating junk food, I started watching movies, I started, doing something that's not beneficial for me long term. You probably can relate to this, and it constantly just repeats. You're successful, now you're not. You're successful, now you're not. It's like money online, now you're looking at Lamborghinis, then you don't make money online for the following month, and then you're thinking, oh man, what job should I get? Lamborghini's job, and you get the point. Well then, we want to break this cycle, because it's really annoying. So how do we do this? Well, you need to understand, first of all, this floor-ceiling analogy. As you can see over here, this is the floor of the current diagram. This is your current floor. Just imagine this floor. Beautiful handwriting, I know, but this is the floor. This right here. And your bottom is the literal worst case scenario inside life. The worst self of you that you are willing to tolerate. What are you willing to tolerate inside life? So far, you may be tolerating yourself whenever you masturbate. So far, you may be tolerating yourself whenever you give in to junk food. And your ceiling is, okay, I'm doing pretty good. I'm on day 15 of NoFap. And once you get to day 15 of NoFap, then the next day you relapse and you come back to your current floor where you're doing bad habits until the point where you cannot tolerate yourself anymore because you masturbated 3 times today. So imagine that your floor is masturbating three times in one single day and your top ceiling is not masturbating inside 15 days. Well, we need to change this. We need to progressively overload this to this over here. As you can see, the diagram jumped on 15 as the current floor. So now your ceiling becomes the floor. Now this is the floor. And if this is the floor, you will have a new ceiling now. So what is the new ceiling? For example, 30 days of NoFap. You're not willing to tolerate yourself relapsing more than once every 15 days. If you do so, you are gonna sleep, you'll feel like there is something wrong with you. But your current ceiling is not masturbating for 30 days. You feel amazing, you feel super motivated, and then you fall off, you masturbate, and you feel like shit. So then again, you do the same thing and jump onto another diagram. Now your ceiling becomes your floor. So now you will not tolerate yourself if you masturbate more than once in every single 30 days. But your new ceiling will be 2 months. And then you do the same thing with the 2 months. You swap the positions. Now 2 months have become your floor, while let's say 6 months is now your ceiling. And you continue to progressively overload this. That's how you never come back to your old behavior. You're constantly growing, you're constantly evolving, and you're constantly making something happen out of your beautiful life that you currently have inside this world. And that's something that I want to end with. You see, people feel like their lives are hopeless. Many people feel like they are not worthy of anything inside life. They think, okay, I guess this is life. I guess this is what it's come to. Just jacking off, checking emails, going working a 9-to-5 job and never making anything happen inside my life. Well, let's have a bro talk right now. Just look at me. Don't look at the whiteboard. Look at me. Do you think that seriously your life is only about that? Do you seriously think that you have been put upon this world to jack off? To just live a life that you never even wanted? No, far from it. You have a beautiful life. You have a gift. Literally, imagine your life as a gift. Feel grateful for it. Finally, say thank you. Thank you to God, to the universe, or whatever you believe in, for giving you this life. If you don't believe in anything, if that's somehow possible, just say thank you to nothing. And just feel grateful that you are having this life, because you have something beautiful which is able to transform this entire population. It only took one human to build NASA, to build SpaceX, and to buy Twitter. And that person was Elon Musk. If he was able to do such activity, such a thing, in that as one person, think about what you can do. Maybe you will be the person who discovers how to space travel. Maybe you will be the person who cures AIDS or cancer. So think about that for a little while. Stop feeling hopeless. I just gave you the blueprint on how to quit masturbation and quit any other bad habit. And now, the only thing that remains is taking action. So now that I gave you this very heartfelt talk, I know that you're currently tearing up and you want to forget it. Accountability is really something powerful. So exactly because of that, brother, I have a free community which you can join using the first link in the description. Join it right now and you will be able to hold yourself accountable with someone who has watched perhaps the same video and with me as well. So every single day you can write down a post. Hey, I made it happen, bro. This is what I did. This is my successes. This is what I worked on. And you write that down. Well, I'm gonna see it. But other people will see it. And we are gonna celebrate your win. And if you fail, we are gonna give you advice and we're gonna hold you accountable. And the only thing that's expected out of you is to do the same to others. So if that sounds cool, bro, click the first link in the description. And before my phone fucks up and my video gets deleted, click the video you see over my head to learn even more. If you found this content good, interesting, funny, I don't know. Thank you, bro, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.